You already know someone like this. Walk into the room, say almost nothing, and people lean in, not because they're loud, not because they're the best-looking person there, just something about them pulls the air out. You've probably wondered what that actually is. Here's the thing. It's not some personality you were born with or weren't. It's a set of very specific behaviors, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. Today we're breaking down 6 of them, not theories, real patterns, pulled from the people who actually command rooms. Before we get into number 2, and this is the one most people mess up, if you're the kind of person who actually wants to understand how social dynamics work, not just consume content about them, hit subscribe. We go deep on this stuff every week. No filler. Research shows people form an initial read on you in under 5 seconds of seeing you, before you open your mouth. Before you do anything, that window is brutal and it's real. Most people lose it by trying to disappear. They dress like everyone around them because some part of their brain is running an old script. Don't stand out. Don't get judged. And that instinct makes sense. But it costs you 2 simple fixes. Dress 1 level above what the room expects, not a tuxedo at a barbecue. Just slightly more intentional than the default. People notice, they read it as confidence, not arrogance. And stop chasing expensive brands. Find clothes that actually fit your body. A well-fitted $30 shirt beats a $400 one that hangs off your shoulders. Fit is respect. Your body is always saying something. The question is, what? Watch someone who commands real attention. Tony Robbins, a trial lawyer, in his element, a coach on a sideline. They take up space, not aggressively, just fully, like they're comfortable being seen. Most people shrink. They sit on the edge of their seat. They cross their arms. They make themselves smaller, which signals to everyone around them, I'm not sure I belong here. You don't need big theatrical gestures. It's simpler than that. Before you walk into any room, take 2 seconds, roll your shoulders back, create space between your ribs and your hips, stand at your actual height. That's it. And you'll feel the difference immediately. But so will everyone else. Most people in the West are awkward about physical contact. After a handshake, if you even get one, it's hands to yourself for the rest of the interaction, which is strange because touch is one of the most direct ways humans build trust. Watch how Oprah connects with people. She doesn't wait for them to open up. A hand on the arm, a squeeze of the shoulder. The conversation changes. The wall comes down. 4. Rules to do this right. Keep contact to safe zones. Hands, arms, upper back. Keep it under 5 seconds. Do it with everyone, not just the one person you're trying to impress. And pay attention to how people respond. Someone stiffening or leaning back is telling you something. Listen, here's one nobody talks about. When someone talks over you and you stop, you just told everyone in that conversation whose opinion matters more. You volunteered that information. Nobody took it from you. Most people think stopping is polite, and in a quiet one-on-one, maybe. But in a group, in a meeting, in any room with more than 2 people, if you fold the moment someone interrupts, you've ranked yourself below them. The fix isn't to get louder or aggressive. Watch Russell Brand in interviews. Someone tries to roll over him. He doesn't yell, doesn't rush, just continues at his exact same pace, his exact same tone. Like the interruption didn't register. He finishes his thought. Then he hands the floor back. That's what composure under pressure actually looks like. Not unshakable, just unmoved. There's a shortcut to looking small, and people use it constantly. They talk down the competition. In a job interview, on a date, in an argument, tearing down the other option feels like it helps you. It doesn't. It just tells people you're threatened. Compare that to Jordan Peterson, a religious man, walking into a room and saying, "Look, there's a strong case for atheism, 300 years of brilliant scientific minds building toward it. I'm not pretending that's nothing. That's what confidence sounds like. Not defensive, not performing. It's the security to acknowledge strength on the other side. When you elevate someone else, you elevate yourself, because you're the one showing you can afford to be honest. The last one is the most counterintuitive. Most people think respect comes from looking put together. Like if you can just project enough confidence, enough polish, people will buy it. They won't. People can feel when you're hiding something. The overcompensation reads like a tell. What actually builds respect is the opposite. Watch Brad Pitt accept an award and joke, straight-faced, about what a stretch the role was for him. Watch Eminem in 8 Mile open the final battle by saying every single bad thing his opponent was about to say first, his own flaws delivered without apology. When your shortcomings don't embarrass you, they can't be used against you. More than that, they become proof of something, that you're not managing an image, you're just showing up. That's rare, and people respect rare. 6 behaviors. None of them require you to change who you are. They require you to stop shrinking from who you already are. The through line across all of them is this: people respect people who aren't afraid to be seen. If this connected with you, the next video worth watching is right there on screen. We go deeper on the psychology of presence and why most advice on confidence misses the actual root of it. There's a version of you that walks into a room and people keep talking, and there's a version that walks in and something shifts, conversations slow down, eyes move. Nobody can explain why, but everybody feels it. Same person, different body. That's not a metaphor. The research on this is pretty clear. Before you say a single word, people have already decided how much attention to give you, not based on what you've done, based on how you carry what you've got. Today, we're going into exactly how that works. 5 signals your body is sending right now, and how to change them. Most people have never thought about how they enter a room. They push through the door and immediately scan. Where's my seat? Who's already here? Do I know anyone? Head forward, eyes darting, body following behind, like it's trying to catch up with the anxiety. What that communicates instantly is, I'm not sure I belong here. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Pause at the threshold for 1 second before you walk in. 1 second, shoulders back, chin level. Let your eyes settle before your feet move. You're not posing, you're not performing confidence. You're just giving your body a moment to arrive before your nerves do. People who command rooms don't rush their entrance. They let the room come to them first. Everyone's been told to make eye contact. Almost nobody does it right. There are 2 ways people get it wrong. The first is avoidance. Looking away too fast. Looking at the floor. Scanning the middle distance between 2 people so you don't have to commit to either. That reads as either nervous or uninterested. Neither is good. The second mistake is the stare. Locked in, unblinking, intensity as compensation. That's not confident, that's uncomfortable for everyone, including you. Real eye contact has a rhythm. You hold it long enough to communicate, I'm actually here with you. Then you look away naturally, not down, not fast, just away. Like your thoughts drifted for a moment. The specific number researchers point to is about 60 to 70% of the time during a conversation. Hold slightly longer when you're making a point. Break slightly more when you're listening and thinking. And when someone finishes talking, hold for 1 beat before you respond. Don't jump. That single pause communicates more calm authority than almost anything else you can do. We're about halfway through, and the next signal is the one that surprises people most, because it has nothing to do with how you move. It's about how you stop moving. If you want to keep going deeper on this kind of stuff, subscribe. We put one of these out every week. No fluff, no recycled advice. Now signal 3. The most overlooked body language signal isn't a movement. It's the absence of one. Watch someone who's genuinely at ease in a high-pressure situation, a surgeon, before an operation, a negotiator across the table, a fighter waiting for the bell. They're still not stiff. Still, there's a difference. Nervous energy leaks out of people constantly, bouncing a knee, touching your face, shifting weight from foot to foot, fidgeting with a pen, a phone, a ring. Most people don't notice they're doing it. Everyone else does. Every unnecessary movement is a small signal. Something inside is unsettled. You can train this. Next time you're in a conversation that makes you uncomfortable, pick one thing to stop doing. Just one. Don't cross your arms. Don't bounce your leg. Don't touch your face. Let the discomfort sit there without escaping it through motion. That's what stillness actually is, not the absence of feeling, the decision not to run from it. Hands are the most expressive part of the human body after the face, and most people either don't use them at all, arms pinned to their sides, hands in pockets, or they use them too much, gesturing constantly until the movement stops, meaning anything. The principle here is economy. Fewer gestures, more weight. When you gesture, make it deliberate. Use your hands to mark the shape of an idea, not to fill silence or discharge nervous energy. Open palms facing up signal honesty and openness. A single pointed gesture lands harder than 5 scattered ones. And when you're not gesturing, let your hands rest in front of you, relaxed, not gripping each other, not jammed in your pockets, not fidgeting with something, just still. Hands that rest easy say the same thing as a calm voice. Nothing here is threatening me. The last signal is one most people never think about at all. How fast do you move? Not just when you walk, when you turn, when you sit down, when you reach for something, when you stand up to leave. The pace of your physical movement is a constant broadcast. Rushed movement says, I'm running behind. I'm reactive. Something has power over my time. Slow, deliberate movement says the opposite. Not lazy, not indifferent, deliberate, like every action was chosen. Watch how certain people move through a crowded room. They don't weave and dart. They move at their own speed, and the room adjusts around them. That's not arrogance. It's just someone who isn't in a hurry to prove anything. Try slowing down your physical pace by about 20% for one day. Not your thinking, not your speech, just how your body moves through space. You'll feel strange at first, but other people will read you completely differently. The body is always talking. The only question is whether you're saying what you mean. 5 signals, none of them require a personality transplant. All of them are in your control right now. The entry, the eyes, the stillness, the hands. Pick one, just one. Practice it this week until it stops feeling like a technique and starts feeling like you. That's how this actually works. Not all at once, one thing at a time, until the room starts feeling different. 2 people say the exact same sentence. One of them you trust immediately. The other one, something's off. You can't name it, but you felt it. Same words, completely different effect. That gap isn't luck, and it isn't charisma. It's mechanics. The pace, the pitch, the pauses, where the breath goes. All of it is learnable, all of it is adjustable. And here's what makes this chapter different from the last 2. You can practice this one without leaving your room. No mirror, no audience, no pressure. Just your voice and 5 things you probably haven't thought about yet. Most people speak too fast when it matters most. Job interview, first impression, high-stakes conversation. The nerves hit and the words start compressing. Sentences run together, filler words multiply, and the whole thing starts to sound like someone trying to get out of the room as quickly as possible, which is exactly how it lands on the other person. Fast speech signals one of 2 things: excitement or anxiety. And in most serious contexts, the listener defaults to reading it as the second one. Slowing down feels unnatural at first. It feels like you're boring people. You're not. What it actually feels like to the listener is that you're someone who isn't afraid to take up time, someone who expects to be heard. The fix is simple, but it takes practice. Record yourself for 60 seconds talking about anything. Play it back. Count how many times you rush through a thought instead of landing it. Then do it again, slower, and compare. You'll sound different in a way that makes people listen differently. This is the most powerful tool in spoken communication, and almost nobody uses it. The pause does 3 things at once. It gives your listener time to absorb what you just said. It signals that you're comfortable with silence, which is rare and reads as confidence. And it makes whatever comes next land harder, because the brain has been given a moment of quiet before the next signal. Watch any great communicator, a trial lawyer making a closing argument, a comedian landing a punchline, a leader announcing something significant. They all use silence as punctuation. The problem is that silence feels dangerous to most people, so they fill it with come, with so, with you know, with anything. Because empty air feels like failure. It isn't. Empty air is control. Try this. Next time you're about to say, don't. Just stop. Let the pause sit there for 1 full second. It will feel like 10. To the person listening, it will feel like authority. We're 3 elements in, and the next one is the one that separates people who sound credible from people who sound like they're asking for permission. If this series is landing for you, subscribe. 1 chapter a week. We're building this into something you can actually use, not just watch. Element 4. Uptalk is when your voice rises at the end of a statement. Like every sentence ends with a question mark, even when it isn't one. You've heard it. You might do it yourself without realizing. What it communicates is this: I'm not sure if this is okay with you. I'm checking to see if you agree before I commit to what I just said. That's the permission problem, and it undermines everything else. The posture, the eye contact, the stillness from the last chapter. You can have all of that right, and then open your mouth and give it all back. The fix is a downward inflection at the end of statements. Not aggressive, not authoritative to the point of stiffness, just settled. The voice lands instead of floats. Say your own name out loud right now. Does it go up at the end or down? Most people are surprised when they hear themselves. The mic doesn't lie. Record a voice note and listen for it. Once you hear it, you can't stop hearing it, which is exactly the point. There's a specific kind of quiet that reads as humble, and there's a kind that reads as unsure. The difference is projection, and projection has nothing to do with being loud. It's about where the sound comes from. Voices that carry, that fill a room without effort, come from the chest and the diaphragm. Voices that get lost come from the throat, tight and thin, especially when someone is nervous. When your throat tightens under pressure, the voice goes up in pitch and down in volume at the same time, which is the exact opposite of what you want. 1 fix: breathe lower before you speak. Not a deep dramatic breath, just a slow exhale that drops your shoulders and opens the chest slightly. Then speak from that place. Another, practice projecting to the back of whatever room you're in. Not louder, further. There's a difference. Louder is effort, further is direction. Aim your voice at the far wall and you'll notice the quality of the sound changes without the volume going up. People who sound like they mean what they say aren't necessarily louder. They're just more grounded when they say it. The last element isn't about how your voice sounds. It's about what you do with it. Most people over-explain. They qualify everything. They add clauses and caveats and context until the original point is buried somewhere in the middle of a sentence that started 3 redirections ago. It sounds like, I could be wrong, but I kind of think that maybe the approach we've been using might not be. And I know a lot of work has gone into it, but it might not be the most effective one for this situation. Compare that to, I think we need a different approach. Same meaning, completely different authority. The qualifiers aren't honesty, they're hedging. They signal that you're pre-apologizing for your own opinion, which tells the listener to take it less seriously before you've even finished saying it. Speak in shorter sentences. Make the point. Stop. Let it land before you add to it. If someone needs clarification, they'll ask you. Don't have to preemptively defend yourself against a question. Nobody. To ask straight. Less words, more weight. Every time. 5 elements. Pace, pause, inflection, projection, economy. None of them require a voice coach or a public speaking class. All of them are things you can work on today, alone, with a voice note app, in a car, before a call. Here's the honest truth about this series. Body language from chapter 2 creates the frame. Voice from this chapter fills it. Without both working together, one will always undercut the other, which is why chapter 4 is about what happens when someone is actually listening to you, and how to make sure what you say is worth remembering. Links on screen. See you there.